Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm your host for this evening of relaxation, and I'm so glad you could join me. Before we begin, if you find that you are being interrupted by ads throughout the story, those ads are being placed by YouTube. I do not have any control over those ads as of yet. However, once I become monetized, I will be able to remove the ads from during the middle of the stories. So please bear with me and continue to relax and enjoy. Take a moment to settle in, wherever you might be. Find a comfortable position, maybe on your couch, curled up in bed, or nestled in your favorite chair. Let go of any worries or stresses from your day. Imagine yourself sinking deeper into that comfortable spot. If you have pillows, fluff them up for a little extra support. Maybe there's a soft blanket nearby to wrap up in. Breathe deeply, feeling the tension melt away each time you exhale. We're going to embark on a journey together, a journey that will lead us to complete relaxation. So get comfy, get comfortable, and let's begin. Tonight's journey: two hearts, one soul. Sarah Miller started at the ceiling, the unforgiving darkness pressing down on her. It was 3:17 a.m., a time when most of the world was shrouded in peaceful slumber. Not her. For months, sleep had been an elusive visitor, a phantom of haunting edges throughout her consciousness. Her life was a meticulously constructed tower of success. As a vice president at Technova Corporation, she climbed the corporate ladder with ruthless efficiency. Yet, at the summit, a gnawing emptiness had replaced the expected exhilaration. The ticking of the antique clock on her bedside table seemed to mock her insomnia. Each second was a tiny, relentless hammer pounding away at her sanity. She tried counting sheep, deep breathing, meditation, everything the self help books recommended. Nothing worked. A surge of frustration propelled her out of bed. She padded to the kitchen and poured herself a glass of water, the cold liquid offering a brief respite from the heart of her mind. As she stood by the kitchen window, watching the city lights twinkle like distant stars, a strange sense of loneliness washed over her. She was surrounded by people, yet felt utterly alone. Her career had consumed her, leaving little room for genuine connection. Perhaps in the quiet hours of the night, her subconscious was trying to tell her something important, something she was too afraid to face. Returning to bed, Sarah pulled the covers up to her chin, a futile attempt to shield herself from the encroaching dawn. As sleep continued to evade her, a flicker of desperation ignited within her. Maybe, just maybe, a miracle was the only thing that could save her. The first rays of dawn began to paint the sky with soft hues of pink and gold, casting long dancing shadows through her apartment. Sarah's eyes, however, remained stubbornly closed against the intrusion of daylight. Another night had slipped through her fingers with grains of sand, leaving behind a hollow ache. The weight of exhaustion was a physical entity pressing down on her chest. She tried everything: sleep aids, meditation apps, even a week-long retreat to a remote wellness center. Nothing had worked. Her life, once a carefully orchestrated symphony of productivity, had become a discordant and relentless mound of despair. As the city began to stir, a wave of loneliness washed over her. Her high-powered job had isolated her. Colleagues were acquaintances, not friends. Success had become a glided cage, trapping her in a world of superficial relationships and endless demands. A sharp pain shot through her temple. She groaned, pressing her hands to her face. The ticking of the clock seemed to amplify with each passing second, a relentless metronome of her misery. She imagined it was counting down to something, a deadline she couldn't meet, a goal she couldn't reach. A flicker of anger ignited within her. She was a capable, intelligent woman. How could something as basic as sleep elude her? Was she becoming unhinged? The thought was terrifying. With a heavy sigh, she swung her legs over the side of the bed and stood up. The apartment was a tomb of silence, broken only by the soft hum of the refrigerator. She padded to the kitchen and poured herself a strong cup of coffee, the bitter taste a stark contrast to the emptiness inside her. As she sat at the kitchen table, staring out at the bustling city below, a thought occurred to her. What if this was a sign, a message from her body, her mind, or something beyond her comprehension, telling her that she needed to change? But change into what? She had no idea. As a new day was dawning, both literally and metaphorically, and as the sun climbed higher in the sky, Sarah was left to face the daunting task of navigating her way through the darkness within. The morning unfolded in a blur of caffeine and emails. Sarah's mind, however, was far from the spreadsheets and deadlines. A strange relentlessness had taken hold of her, a yearning for something more than the relentless pursuit of success. As the day wore on, she found herself drawn to the park across the street from her office. The vibrant green expanse was a stark contrast to the sterile concrete jungle that surrounded her. She sat on a bench, watching children laugh and play, their carefree joy a stark reminder of her own lost innocence. A small, elderly woman with twinkling eyes approached her. "Beautiful day, isn't it?" she said, her voice carrying a gentle warmth. Sarah nodded, startled at first. "It is," she replied, forcing a smile. The woman smiled back. "You look like you could use a good night's sleep." Sarah's heart skipped a beat. How did this stranger know? She managed a weak laugh. "I wish." The woman patted her hand. "Things change," she said simply. "Sometimes all it takes is a little patience." With that, she turned and walked away, leaving Sarah pondering her words. Patience? It was a virtue she'd rarely practiced. Her life had been a relentless march forward, driven by deadlines and targets. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows over the park, Sarah found herself drawn back to her apartment. A sense of unease settled over her. Felt like she was on to something. A change, a discovery, but what? That night, as she lay in bed, staring at the darkness, she thought about the old woman's words. Perhaps, just perhaps, she was ready to embrace a different kind of life. A life where sleep was a gentle companion and happiness was found in simpler pleasures. As dawn approached, a sliver of hope flickered in the depths of her despair. Maybe, just maybe, a miracle was possible after all. The following morning, Sarah woke with a renewed sense of purpose. The relentless grip of insomnia seemed to have loosened its hold, replaced by a quiet determination. She decided to take a bold step. She would reduce her work hours. The idea was terrifying, but the prospect of endless sleepless nights was even more so. Her boss, the ever impatient Daniel Carter, was less than thrilled. "Sarah, this is a critical time for the company," he argued, his voice laced with disapproval. "We need you at full capacity." But Sarah insisted. She explained her decision calmly, emphasizing the importance of her health and well-being. To her surprise, Daniel relented, albeit reluctantly. "Just don't expect any special treatment," he warned. With newfound freedom, Sarah began to explore interests she'd neglected. She signed up for a pottery class, a hobby she'd always been curious about. The feel of wet clay beneath her hands was surprisingly therapeutic. She rediscovered the joy of reading, losing herself in the worlds of fictional characters. Slowly but surely, she began to return. It wasn't perfect, but it was a vast improvement. Mornings were no longer a battle. and the world seemed to hold a fresh, vibrant hue. As the weeks passed, Sarah realized that her life was undergoing a profound transformation. The high powered executive she once was fading, replaced by a woman who was learning to appreciate the simple pleasures of life. As Sarah's life began to find a new rhythm, she started to notice the world around her with a fresh perspective. One sunny afternoon, while strolling through the park, she spotted a man sketching. There was an intensity to his focus that drew her in. His name was Ethan, a free spirited artist with a contagious laugh and a kind heart. Their initial encounters were brief, shared smiles and nods in the park. But as fate would have it, they ended up in the same pottery class. Ethan's natural talent was evident, and his easygoing nature was a welcome contrast to Sarah's former high strung self. They found themselves drawn to each other, their conversations flowing effortlessly. Ethan saw a side of Sarah that people knew. He appreciated her intelligence and determination. But he was also captivated by her vulnerability. She, in turn, was drawn to his passion for life and his ability to find beauty in the ordinary. Their friendship deepened, filled with shared laughter, thought provoking conversations, and a growing sense of comfort in each other's company. As the seasons changed, so too did their feelings. What began as a casual connection blossomed into something deeper, a love that was gentle, supportive, and filled with promise. As Sarah and Ethan's relationship deepened, so too did the challenges. The stark contrast between their lifestyles became increasingly apparent. Ethan, a free spirit with a bohemian existence, and Sarah, the former high powered executive still navigating the corporate world, were worlds apart in many ways. Their first significant hurdle came when Ethan suggested they move in together. For Sarah, it was a giant leap. The idea of sharing her meticulously organized space with someone else's chaotic energy was daunting. Yet, the thought of not waking up next to Ethan filled her with a pang of loneliness. Then there was the issue of work. Sarah's demanding job often required long hours and travel, putting a strain on their relationship. Ethan, while supportive, couldn't hide his disappointment when she had to miss important events or cancel their plans. Despite these challenges, their love for each other grew stronger. They learned to compromise, to find a balance between their individual needs and their shared desires. They spent weekends exploring the city, discovering hidden gems and creating new memories. Ethan introduced Sarah to a world of art and music, while she exposed him to the intricacies of the corporate world. But just as they were beginning to find their footing, life threw them another curveball. Sarah received a promotion, which meant relocating to the bustling metropolis of New York City. The opportunity was too good to pass up, but it meant leaving everything behind, including Ethan. Heartbreak washed over both of them. The thought of a long distance relationship was terrifying, yet they were determined to make it work. They promised to visit each other frequently, to communicate constantly, and to trust in their love. As Sarah packed her belongings, a sense of bittersweet anticipation filled her. She was excited about this new chapter in her life, but the ache of leaving Ethan behind was a constant companion. As she stepped onto the train, waving goodbye to the city that had become her sanctuary, she clung to the hope that their love was strong enough to withstand the test of distance. The train pulled into Penn Station. The sound and movement engulfing Sarah. New York City, in all its towering, frenetic glory, was a stark contrast to the peaceful existence she was leaving behind. Yet, there was a thrill to it, a sense of infinite possibility. Her new apartment was small, a sunlit space in the heart of the city. It was everything she needed: a fresh start. Work was demanding, but the fast paced environment was invigorating. She immersed herself in her career, finding a sense of purpose in the challenges. But the absence of Ethan was a constant ache. Their daily phone calls were a lifeline filled with laughter, shared dreams, and promises of future reunions. Yet, the distance was a palpable thing, a void that no amount of technology could fill. Months turned into seasons. Sarah thrived in her new role, earning the respect of her colleagues. Her apartment began to feel like home, filled with personal touches. But the longing for Ethan never truly faded. Then came the unexpected. A work trip brought Sarah back to her old city. The familiar streets held a bittersweet charm. She found herself drawn to the park where she and Ethan had first met. As she sat on the bench, memories washed over her. The laughter, the shared dreams, the promise of a future together. A pang of loneliness hit her. She realized how much she missed Ethan, not just his company, but the person he helped her become. The confident, independent woman she was now had in her roots in the love they shared. With newfound clarity, Sarah knew what she had to do. She booked a flight to see Ethan. They spent a whirlwind weekend together, reconnecting on a deeper level. It was in that moment, surrounded by the familiar comfort of their shared world, that she realized she couldn't live without him. The decision to quit her high flying job and move back was not easy. It meant giving up everything she had worked so hard for. But as she looked into Ethan's eyes, filled with a love that was both profound and unwavering, she knew it was the right choice. Returning to their city felt like coming home. They found a cozy apartment, filled it with their shared memories, and began to build a life together. It wasn't always easy. There were adjustments to be made, compromises to find, but the foundation of their relationship was strong, built on love, respect, and a shared vision of their future. Sarah had traded the fast paced world of corporate success for a life filled with love, creativity, and a sense of peace she had never thought possible. It was a journey filled with challenges, but it was also a journey that led her to find herself, to discover the true meaning of happiness. Marriage, as they say, is a marathon, not a sprint. For Sarah and Ethan, the initial part of sharing life was gradually replaced by the gentle undercurrents of everyday challenges. The honeymoon phase, with its intoxicating blend of passion and novelty, had given way to the steady rhythm of domesticity. The once pristine apartment now echoed with laughter, arguments, and the clatter of dishes. The seamless dance of their early days had evolved into a complex tango filled with missteps and the occasional stumble. Small irritations, once overlooked, now magnified under the microscope of shared living. Ethan, for leaving socks on the floor, once charmingly bohemian, now felt like a personal problem. Sarah's obsessive organizational tendencies, once seen as admirable, began to feel stifling. Financial stress crept in. The dream of a carefree artistic life for Ethan was at odds with Sarah's desire for financial security. They found themselves navigating the treacherous waters of budgeting, saving, and compromising. The once spontaneous adventures were replaced by careful planning, a necessary evil, but a far cry from the carefree days of their courtship. Then came the inevitable question of children. For Sarah, it was a natural progression, a way to expand their love and create a family. For Ethan, the idea was terrifying. He cherished their freedom, their ability to explore the world without the constraints of parenthood. Their differing desires created chaos between them, a silent tension that hung heavy in the air. Amidst the challenges, their love remained a steadfast anchor. They learned to communicate openly, to listen without judgment, and to compromise without resentment. They sought counseling, a brave step that brought them closer together. They rediscovered the importance of date nights, of carving out time for just the two of them. And slowly, their relationship began to evolve again. They found a balance between their individual needs and their shared dreams. They learned to appreciate each other's strengths and to support each other's weaknesses. Their love story, once a fairy tale, was now a complex tapestry woven with threads of joy, frustration, and unwavering commitment. The arrival of their daughter, Anna, was a seismic shift. Their world, once centered on the two of them, expanded to encompass a tiny, entirely different human being. The overwhelming love that surged through them was matched only by the sheer exhaustion. Sleep deprived nights became the norm. The once serene apartment was now a symphony of coos, cries, and the gentle hum of a lullaby. Their lives, once filled with spontaneity, were now meticulously planned around feeding schedules, nap times, and doctor's appointments. The division of labor was a constant negotiation. Ethan, with his innate patience, excelled at soothing Anna's cries. Sarah, with her organizational skills, mastered the art of baby proofing. But guilt was a constant companion. Sarah felt torn between her maternal instincts and her career aspirations. Ethan struggled with the fear of not being a good enough provider. Their relationship, once the cornerstone of their world, was tested in ways they hadn't imagined. The quiet moments of intimacy were replaced by hurried, stolen kisses and whispered conversation. They shared dreams of travel and adventure, seemed like distant memories. Yet, amidst the chaos, there was a profound joy. Watching Anna grow and learn was a miracle unfolding before their eyes. Her first smile, her first steps, Each milestone was a testament to the miracle of life. They found a new depth of love in each other, a love forged in the crucible of shared parenthood. There were days when it felt like they were drowning, overwhelmed by the weight of responsibility. But there were also moments of pure grace when the world seemed to stand still as they gazed at their sleeping child. They learned to adapt, to find joy in the small moments, to cherish the quiet moments of connection amidst the whirlwind of parenthood. Their home, once a sanctuary for just the two of them, was now filled with the sound of laughter, the patter of tiny feet, and the unconditional love that only parenthood can bring. It was a journey filled with challenges, but it was also a journey that deepened their love, strengthened their bond, and redefined what it meant to be a family. Time marched on, relentless and indifferent to the passage of childhood. Anna grew into a bright, curious girl, her laughter filling their home with sunshine. The once daunting task of parenthood had become a rhythm, a dance of love and routine. Yet, as Anna blossomed, so did the complexities of parenting. The toddler years, with their sweet innocence and endless energy, gave way to the world of childhood. There were tantrums, tears, and endless questions. There were scraped knees, skinned elbows, and the constant worry of scraped knees. School became a new chapter, filled with excitement and anxiety. There were parent-teacher conferences, school plays, and the eternal battle of homework. Sarah found herself juggling her career with the demands of motherhood, while Ethan, ever the artist, became the go-to dad for creative projects. Their once bustling apartment now echoed with the sound of laughter, homework, and the occasional teenage rebellion. The couple, once young and carefree, found themselves navigating the treacherous waters of adolescence. There were discussions about friendships, crushes, and the ever present specter of social media. Anna, once a sweet and obedient child, was morphing into a strong willed teenager. Her room, once a haven of stuffed animals and fairy tales, was now a fortress of posters and cryptic messages. The once open communication began to slow down, replaced by snappy answers and slammed doors. The couple found themselves questioning their parenting styles. Were we too strict? Too lenient? Were they preparing their daughter for the world, or were they holding her back? Guilt was a constant companion, a nagging doubt that crept into their hearts. Yet, through it all, their love for Anna remained unwavering. They celebrated her successes, offered solace in her failures, and stood as a constant source of support. They learned to let go, to trust Anna's instincts, and to believe in her ability to find her own path. As Anna grew older, so too did Sarah and Ethan. They found themselves looking in the mirror, surprised by the lines etched on their faces, the gray hairs that had appeared seemingly overnight. They realized that their children were growing up and they were growing old. It was a bittersweet realization. They mourned the loss of their carefree days, the days when their biggest worry was a sleepless night. But they also found a profound sense of fulfillment in watching their children blossom into remarkable individuals. Time marched on, relentless and indifferent to the passage of childhood. Anna grew into a bright, curious girl, her laughter filling their home with sunshine. The once daunting task of parenting had become a rhythm, a dance of love and routine. Yet, as Anna blossomed, so too did the complexities of parenting. The toddler years, with their sweet innocence and endless energy, gave way to the turbulence world of childhood. There were tantrums, tears, and endless questions. There were scraped knees, skinned elbows, and constant worries of scraped knees. School became a new chapter filled with excitement and anxiety. There were parent teacher conferences, school plays, and the eternal battle of homework. But the day Anna left for college was a mixture of pride and profound loss. The house, once filled with the echo of teenage laughter and the clatter of dishes, fell into a eerie silence. The empty bedroom, a testament to a life lived, was a stark reminder of the passage of time. Sarah and Ethan found themselves adrift, like ships without a compass. The routines that had defined their lives nearly 2 decades were suddenly obsolete. The once bustling kitchen was now a desolate expanse. The refrigerator filled with forgotten leftovers. Sleepless nights returned, not from the demands of a newborn, but from the weight of an empty nest. The quiet house amplified their thoughts, the echoes of their daughter's laughter haunting the empty rooms. They found solace in each other's company, rediscovering the intimacy that had sometimes been lost in the whirlwind of parenthood. They embarked on a new adventure, exploring hobbies they had neglected and rediscovering the joy of shared experiences. Yet, the absence of Anna was a constant ache. They missed her laughter, her wisdom beyond her years, and the simple joy of her presence. They found themselves scrolling through old photos, reliving cherished memories, and wondering where the time had gone. The empty nest syndrome was a complex beast filled with equal parts grief and gratitude. They mourned the loss of their child's constant presence, but they also celebrated the remarkable young woman she had become. They found pride in her accomplishments and a sense of peace in knowing that she was spreading her wings. Slowly but surely, they began to rebuild their lives. They volunteered at their daughter's college, staying connected to her world while carving out a new path for themselves. They rediscovered old friends, rekindled passions, and found joy in the simple pleasures of life. Their home, once filled with the chaos of childhood, transformed into a sanctuary of peace and reflection. The empty rooms were filled with new possibilities, with dreams of travel, of learning new skills, and of simply enjoying each other's company. The journey through the empty nest was not without its challenges. There were moments of loneliness, of doubt, and of questioning their purpose. But through it all, their love for each other remained a steadfast anchor. They supported each other, laughed together, and found strength in their shared experiences. As the years passed, their relationship deepened. They became best friends, confidants, and partners in crime. They learned to appreciate the quiet moments, the shared silences, and the simple joy of companionship. The empty nest was a symbol of loss, had transformed into a space of growth, for rediscovery, and for a love that had weathered the storms of life. The passage of time was an inexorable force, etching its mark on their bodies and minds. The once vibrant colors of youth had faded, replaced by the softer hues of experience. Aches and pains, once fleeting visitors, now became unwelcome residents. The need for glasses, the occasional stumble, and the fading memory were stark reminders of the aging process. Yet, it was not just the physical changes that challenged them. The loss of friends, the deaths of loved ones, and the realization of mortality casting a long shadow. The world seemed to move faster, leaving them feeling increasingly isolated, like spectators watching life unfold from a distance. Financial concerns also crept in. Retirement savings, once a distant horizon, became a pressing reality. The fear of outliving their resources was a constant undercurrent, a nagging doubt that eroded their sense of security. Health issues began to emerge, a symphony of doctor's appointments, medications, and the constant battle against chronic conditions. The once active couple found themselves limited by physical constraints. Their dreams of travel and adventure replaced by the realities of aging bodies. Loneliness, a silent thief, crept into their lives. The children, now building their own families, were distant stars in their lives. The friends they had shared their lives with were gradually disappearing, leaving a void that was difficult to fill. Yet, amidst the challenges, they found resilience. They learned to adapt, to find joy in the small things, and to appreciate the beauty of the aging process. They discovered new passions, volunteered their time, and became mentors to younger generations. Their love for each other deepened, a testament to the enduring power of human connection. They held hands, shared stories, and found comfort in each other's presence. Their home, once filled with the echoes of childhood, became a sanctuary of love, companionship, and shared memories. Aging was not easy, but it was a journey they faced together. They supported each other, laughed together, and found strength in their shared experiences. Their love, forged in the fires of youth, was tempered by time, emerging as a diamond of resilience and enduring affection. As the sands of time slipped through their fingers, Sarah and Ethan began to contemplate their legacy. What would they leave behind? What mark would they make on the world? The question was daunting, a challenge that forced them to look beyond their own lives. They started small, volunteering at a local soup kitchen, their hands finding purpose in serving those less fortunate. They joined a writing group, their stories a testament to a life well lived. They became mentors, sharing their wisdom with younger generations, hoping to inspire and guide them. Their home became a haven for their grandchildren, a place filled with laughter, stories, and the enduring magic of family. They were the keepers of traditions, passing down recipes, stories, and the values that had shaped their lives. They created a family history, documenting their lives, their loves, and the lessons they had learned. It was a labor of love, a legacy for future generations to cherish. As their health began to decline, they made plans for the future. They chose a retirement community that offered a sense of community and support. They discussed their wishes for their final years, their hopes for a peaceful transition. The fear of death, once a distant specter, became a tangible reality. They held hands, sharing their fears and their hopes. They found comfort in their faith, in the belief that their love would transcend the boundaries of time. Their legacy was not about material possessions or grand achievements. It was about the love they shared, the lives they touched, and the values they instilled in those around them. It was about leaving the world a slightly better place than they found it. As they sat on their porch, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of gold and pink, they felt a sense of peace. Their lives had been filled with joy, sorrow, challenges, and triumphs. They had loved deeply, laughed heartily, and learned from their mistakes. They were ready for whatever the future held, hand in hand, their hearts filled with gratitude for a life well lived. Their legacy was not in the grand gestures, but in the quiet moments of love, shared laughter, and the enduring power of human connection. The autumn leaves were a fiery tapestry when the end came. It was a quiet morning, the kind that held a serene beauty in its stillness. Sarah was curled up in Ethan's arms, their breaths mingling in the cool morning air. A soft smile played on her lips, a reflection of the contentment that had settled deep within her. Ethan's hand, warm and steady, traced gentle patterns on her skin. His eyes, filled with a lifetime of love, held hers captive. In that moment, time seemed to stand still. A precious pause in the relentless march of life. A gentle peace washed over them, a sense of completion that transcended words. It was as if their entire lives had been leading to this perfect moment, a culmination of love, laughter, and shared dreams. Their hearts beat in unison, a rhythm as old as time itself. And then, as softly as a falling leaf, they slipped away together, their spirits merging into the eternal tapestry of existence. The world outside continued its relentless cycle, obvious to the profound loss within the house. But within those walls, a love story had reached its final chapter. A love so deep, so enduring, that it transcended the boundaries of life and death. Their legacy lived on in the hearts of their children, in the laughter of their grandchildren, and in the countless lives they had touched. They were remembered not as individuals, but as a symbol of love, a testament to the enduring power of human connection. And so, Sarah and Ethan, the architects of their own love story, embarked on their final adventure, hand in hand, their spirits soaring into the infinite expanse of the universe. Their journey was over, but their love, like the stars, would shine forever, a beacon of hope for those left behind to navigate the winding paths of their own lives. In the quiet of the night, as the world slept, their spirits danced amongst the constellations, a testament to a love that knew no end. And in the hearts of those who loved them, they lived on, a cherished memory, a guiding star, a love story for the ages. Let the feeling of peace settle in deeply and allow your worries of the day to melt away. As you continue to listen to the relaxing sounds and drift to sleep, remember, relaxing stories are always waiting for you right here. If you enjoyed this peaceful time, subscribe to my relaxing stories. Turn the notification bell to all so that you will be the very first to know when a new relaxing story awaits. Continue to relax in your comfortable spot. Maybe you're lying down or perched in your favorite chair, covered by a nice, cold, warmy blanket. Continue to breathe deeply, feeling every breath you take and exhale. Close your eyes and just continue to listen to the relaxing sounds as you sleep soundly. Good night. If you enjoyed the journey of this relaxing story, subscribe to my relaxing stories and turn the notification bell to all. Thank you for listening.